Hello, Shaker Heights varsity hockey fans, and welcome here to the Kent State Ice Arena where your Red Raiders are starting their district tournament run for the OHSAA state tournament. Now, entering into today, Shaker is 13th in those OHSAA rankings, and they're starting off number 3 seeded in that Kent district bracket. On the other hand, they are taking on the Orange Lions today in their clean black and orange look. They are 57th in the OHSAA rankings. Kent seeded 14th in the bracket. So we will see how they do here today. Shaker typically mercying a team in that first round of the district bracket. We saw that 2 years ago against Cleveland Heights. We saw it last year against Solon. We saw the last goal actually scored by one of those Solon players because the senior captain wanted to go out with a bang. He just ended it on his own terms. Now, Shaker is coming out of the Cleveland Cup run last weekend. They took on Holy Name. They won that game 2-0. They had a couple players out due to illness, a couple also out due to just other circumstances. There was one out for personal matters. That was Andy Benincasa, but Shaker was still able to muster up the shutout victory. 2-0 was your final there at the Brunswick Auto Mart Arena. Now, Shaker went into their next game maybe with a bit of a chip on their shoulder after what should have been more of a dominating performance, but regardless, they still lost to their rival, the Lancers of Gilmore Academy, able to beat the Red Raiders. 5-2 was your final there. Gilmore went on to lose to University School. 5-0 was the final there, with US taking home the Cleveland Cup for the second straight year. Back-to-back go the Preppers. They're looking to actually make a big state tournament run later in this tournament. Now, Orange, however, is coming off of a 2-1 loss against Normandy High School, a school just around that Parma area. We see Holy Name around there. Holy Name, a team that Shaker continues to dominate, so we'll give you a bit of an understanding of where Orange is in the OHSAA state rankings. Holy Name, is 40th ranked in this state. Orange is 57th, so technically speaking, Shaker should have a better performance against Orange that they did have against Holy Name. Shaker beating Holy Name each of the 3 times that they faced off. Now, in this Kent bracket, we've seen a lot of different games already take place. There's still one more to go after this one. That is Menor versus Nordonia. The winner of this game takes on the winner of Menor and Nordonia. Menor, more than likely the team to come out of that game. So, also in this tournament, we started off with US beating their opponent. We started off with a lot of typical results. However, in the Sylvania bracket, we already saw an upset. Sylvania Northview getting the loss against Clay High School, a big upset to start off the tournament. We'll see if Orange can maybe have a chance at an upset here today against the Red Raiders. But now we're going to take you down to ice level for player introductions. Thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Vaughn Ullom, here with the call of the game from Kent State University. Hello once again, Shaker Heights varsity hockey fans, and welcome here to the Kent State Ice Arena where your Red Raiders are getting set to face off against the Menor Cardinals. Now, the Red Raiders have met these Menor Cardinals 3 times during the season, but they were all tournament games. The first time these two teams met, it was the very beginning of the season, the Rocky River Tournament. You may remember that from November 19th, where the Red Raiders beat these Cardinals 3-1. They then later met early in December. 2-1 was your final. The Red Raiders also winning that as a part of the Thornton Park Tournament, that host Red Raider tournament. And then Shaker faced off against them once more. That, unfortunately, was a 3-1 loss in the Greg Shoup Memorial Tournament hosted by Walsh Jesuit at the Brunswick Auto Mart Arena. Now, entering into today, the Red Raiders are ranked 12th in the OHSAA state rankings. That is one higher than where they were in the last game. Menor, however, has also moved up into number 20 due to Northview being upset. They moved all the way back from 18, I believe, all the way back to 21. So Menor moved forward into the 20 spot. Shaker over at number 12. And Shaker is coming off of a big victory against the Orange Lions. Was it expected? Yes, but it's still notable. 10-0 was your final. No third period was played. They mercied them through the first 2 periods. I believe for Menor it was the exact same against Nordonia. Menor beating Nordonia 11-1 was your final there. Now, for the rest of the Kent District bracket, It was University School getting set to play Walsh Jesuit. That will be on Saturday. Right after that game, it's going to be the winner of this game taking on Gilmore Academy. Gilmore just playing moments ago. They defeated Hudson. 7-1 was your final. It was a good game up until about the third period where Gilmore was really able to pull away. Now, excuse me. To get to the lines of today, it's going to be the first line for Menor is going to be A.J. Trobenter, number 27, Rowan Jakubka, who is the team captain, and then Austin Andrews. Now, the two wingers just mentioned, number 26, Trobenter, and Austin Andrews are the two guys to keep an eye out for. Now for your Red Raiders, the first line is going to look like this. It's going to be Joey Moore on the left wing, Will Brokaw sticking in at the right spot, and of course at the center it's going to be that captain, Sammy Gerber. But for now, we will continue the lines in just a moment, but right now we've got the national anthem and player introductions. We'll send you down to ice level for those player introductions. Thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Vaughn Ullom. I will be here for the call all game long. Shaker Heights varsity hockey fans, and welcome back to the Kent State University Ice Arena, of course, here in Kent, Ohio. Your Red Raiders are here today taking on the Gilmore Academy Lancers right here to my left. Your Red Raiders getting set up behind your camera. They're in their all-red look, Gilmore in their white and blue. Now entering into today, Shaker is ranked 12th in the OHSAA state rankings. Gilmore moved back to 10. Charles Prep jumped them in those rankings, moving up to 9. And a Kent District seedings, Shaker Heights is number 3, Gilmore Academy is number 2, so it's going to be a different kind of underdog scenario for your Red Raiders as they were taking on Menor last game. We'll get to that in just a moment. Menor seeded number 4. But these two teams have faced off against each other 3 times this season. The first meeting was the very start of the new year. First game of 2024. Your Red Raiders were hosting Gilmore Academy at their own tournament, at their own rink. 3-1 was your final there. Gilmore coming away with the victory, but it was a close game all throughout the night. Once again, that was at home, but on the road, Shaker faced Gilmore once again in Gilmore Academy territory on February 3rd. Shaker was able to come away with the victory there. 2-1 was your final. Ian Hunter getting the first tip-in goal. Brokaw getting a power play goal later. I believe it was the second period where he got that goal. And then less than a week later, these two teams faced off as a part of the Great Lakes Hockey League Cleveland Cup. These two teams are rivals of the GLHL, and they met in the second round of the GLHL Cleveland Cup. Gilmore able to take away the victory there. Moving on to face US, the final of their contest of Shaker and Gilmore was 5-2. Of course, Gilmore coming away with the win. Gilmore then went on to lose against University School in the finals of the Cleveland Cup. 5-0 was their final there. So Gilmore lost those finals 5-0, but in the GLHL, they've had some very good impact players. The two names to keep in mind that were GLHL second team All-Pros were Colton Fairchild, number 15. He is definitely the name to look out for on the offensive side of things for these Gilmore Academy Lancers. On the defensive side, it's going to be Carson Bowden. He was also second team. Only one player here today was a part of that first team All-GLHL, and that was Will Brokaw of your Red Raiders. The two second-team players for Shaker Heights was Sammy Gerber, the captain forward, and Quentin Garnett, the captain defenseman. Now, Gilmore is coming off of that 7-1 victory against Hudson in the last round. Shaker 4-1 victory against Menor. Of course, that's how they got here today to face off against each other. The winner of this one will take on University School next. US just beating Walsh Jesuit moments ago, 5-0 there. The winner taking on the number 2 team in the state. We'll send you down to ice level with the player introductions. Thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Vaughn Ullom. I will be here with the call all game Once again, Shaker Heights varsity hockey fans, and welcome here to the Kent District Championship as your Red Raiders are getting set to take on the biggest rival of them all, the University School Preppers. Now, Shaker enters into today 12th ranked in those OHSAA state rankings, US coming in at number 2. So it's going to be a very difficult affair for Shaker Heights. It's just about whether they can carry in the momentum from their last game into today. Shaker is coming off that 4-0 victory against Gilmore Academy. It was a big upset considering Shaker is seated in this district number 3. Gilmore was up to number 2. And even though Shaker was able to beat Menor 4-1 prior to that game, it was still a very big upset for the Shaker Heights hockey squad. Now, US, on the other hand, is coming off of a 5-0 victory to Walsh Jesuit. Walsh Jesuit, a team ranked all the way back in the state rankings around the high 20s, I do believe. However, Shaker Heights is ranked 3rd in the district. US is all the way up to number 1. So this is as difficult as it gets in the Kent district. And US and Shaker have already met twice this season. Last year, they met 4 times. US got the better of them every single time that season. They met twice during the regular season, once during the GLHL Cleveland Cup, and then once more at First Energy Stadium for the Kent District semifinals. Here, just one step further with the way the bracket was laid out. They're able to meet here where it all matters. The winner of this one moves on to Columbus. They will go to Nationwide Arena, home of the NHL team, the Columbus Blue Jackets. But let's give you a couple more of the facts before we get started. Now, University School has gotten the better of Shaker each of the 2 times this season as well. So that means that US is holding on to a 6-game winning streak up against Shaker Heights currently. They won January 7th, 8-2 was your final there. US was hosting that game back at the Cleveland Heights Rec Pavilion. And back at home at Shaker's Thornton Park Ice Arena, US was also able to get the victory. 5-0 was your final there. Now, to give you a couple of the key players of the game before we wrap up this intro, there's 4 GLHL All-Stars over on that US side. That is Sam Wade, and he has been absolutely phenomenal for this team. He's not the biggest player, but he is the biggest playmaker for this team. Beauty of a shot, beauty of speed and acceleration. So we'll see him. Also for US on the defensive side, Ryder Began as the goaltender, It's going to be Noah Caballero, and then the other forward, Luke Palmer. For Shaker, the 2 GLHL All-Stars were Will Brokaw, Sammy Gerber, and Quentin Garnett. We'll see how these 7 GLHL All-Stars will fare. But now we're going to send you down to ice level for the player introductions. Thank you very, very much for tuning in. My name is Vaughn Ullom here with the call of the game.